Alright, let's go to Stream Manager. Edit stream info. Let's go with that play.
Yes, you have a first, and then you have the one from Jalen Ramsey. You have a first and a fourth from that Jalen Ramsey trade.
Yeah.
Still to use. You've got a second round pick from Ngakwe.
Yeah. Second from Ngakwe.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a conditional in 2022. If he's first ballot Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, third if he's first ballot Pro Bowl and the Vikings win the Super Bowl. Fourth if he's a first ballot Pro Bowl. Or fifth round.
Yeah.
Then you have a third, then you have a fourth, and then the fourth from the Jalen Ramsey trade.
Yeah.
Then you've got fifth round pick. Somehow, I don't really understand. From the Browns for Ronnie Harrison.
Oh yeah.
It says unconfirmed if pick is Browns Rams pick.
Right.
Then you've got Jaguars. Then you've got another fifth, and then you've got one from Austin Corbett.
Okay.
To the Browns from the Browns. I'm confused by that whole trio of things. You've then got sixth rounder from the Titans, I think, or you might have. No, I think that's you've given a sixth rounder. Then you've got a seventh and seventh from the Titans.
Okay.
So you don't have a sixth, but you'll have some confusing stuff in there.
Okay. Right, I'm just going to take my jumper off and then I'll start.
Cool. You've given a sixth rounder. Then you've got a seventh and seventh from the Titans. Okay. So you don't have a sixth. Okay, we're live. Hello, welcome everyone.
We're live.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get a notification? Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so we might expect that.
Yeah.
Yes, apologies if there are any internet issues tonight from a different location, as in my upstairs room rather than downstairs. So, but yeah, welcome to Flag on the Play.
Woo.
I am Nathan,
Mr. Flag.
Mr. Flag, and we're here with Sam the Statman. And we're going to talk about Week 12, predict Week 13, some interesting things happening this week. We've both got a couple of things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to just carry on the conversation we were just having. We're talking about a very interesting development, which is incredibly nerdy, so we're going to take it slow, and we're going to explain it for everyone who doesn't understand.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the money side of the NFL and cap space, because the league has just announced that they're going to reduce the amount of cap...
It's projections, so it's not...
Oh, is it not an announcement? It's just.
I don't think it's definite, but yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
Over the cap, which has been kind of worked alongside the NFL, data-wise, sorting out cap space and that sort of thing. Their 2021 projections are suggesting that there's going to be a 22 million decrease in cap space next year.
So cap space is the amount of money each team is allowed to spend on players, and it's the way of keeping the league even. So, for example, in Britain or in our in the Premier League, there isn't a cap space, so that basically whichever team is the richest can buy all the good players and do the best. The NFL doesn't allow that. Each team has a certain amount of cap space, which they use to which they have to fit their players' salaries in. And so going down by 22 million is quite a lot.
11.2% decrease in cap space.
That's
which is
lot.
Massive. Now, and there's a decrease because, the US economy, global economy, is going to be kind of
Yeah.
a bit shaken from the whole coronavirus and inflation, and just all that monetary side of things
Yeah.
means that, yeah.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to keep up with this cap space because, yeah, they have superstar players on their rosters and who they need to re-sign, maintain. A big way that teams sort out that really difficult cap space is by giving players a large bonus, a large sum of money at the beginning, guaranteed essentially,
Yeah.
for when they sign on, and then give them a smaller amount spread over future years of the contract.
Yeah.
And the very difficult thing is that because of coronavirus, a lot of clubs won't have that big money
No.
to spend because they've been spending that big money to keep facilities open to pay people who aren't working, essentially.
Yeah. VSH Grey, you make a great question. Who will struggle the most? We were just saying, have a guess which team is going to be 90 million over the cap if this all happens. It's probably not the team you think it might be. He says. I don't know.
He says.
Be interested to see what people think. Cowboys. Cowboys Bucks.
No, I think they'll be all right. This is before any players re-signing.
Okay.
So this doesn't. It doesn't include things like say re-signing Dak. If you did, yeah, Cowboys would be in some trouble.
Yeah.
But that's not included in this.
Go on, Sam, tell them.
It's the Saints.
Which is
93.7 million projected over the cap.
Yeah. Oh, well done, Matt. Yeah, he got it just at the end there. Well done. Yeah, this is an interesting one because the Saints have obviously been really good for a long number of years. And we just don't know whether they're going to be able to hold all of this out. And also they're going to have some QB issues there because Drew Brees has cost us a lot of money. And do you want to keep him?
Yes, I was just looking at this. Drew Brees has a cap hit of 36 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's 20% of the projected cap space.
Yeah,
I believe, and he carries with him 22.6 dead cap.
So dead cap is even if they cut him, they don't get all of that 30 million cap space back because they guarantee some money to him. There's what's called a dead cap, which is money you are spending on his contract without him actually being a part of the team. So actually, getting rid of Brees doesn't help.
It saves 14 million.
Which is okay, but also...
Which is okay, but yeah.
Yeah, well done, yeah, absolutely. They would need to... That was the problem Jaguars had this season.
No.
Or is it still the same problem?
Dead cap is the amount that would remain with the team's cap should the player be traded or released.
Okay.
So yeah, holding 22 million dead cap is not a good thing, and he needs to remain on the roster.
Yeah.
Essentially. But there aren't very many players looking through this that the Saints would be able to get rid of without having massive dead cap hits or saving enough money.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really difficult for them.
And I think you're right, Matt, that actually it's a difficult situation for the Saints and for Brees because who then takes him?
Yeah.
Because obviously he's got injured this year, and as he gets older, he will be more prone to injury. I think Tom Brady has played well enough to be paid as a decent quarterback, but I think they are both proving that actually age, your physical ability will diminish with age. Their IQ is absolutely still there. They're both fantastically smart football players, but
absolutely.
Have you seen Tom Brady's record on 20-yard passes?
It was. I know where you're getting that. Was it a stat that came out recently?
Yeah.
It's going to. I believe that was from week 4 or 5 up until last week.
It's actually. It was actually from week 8, but yeah.
Okay.
But Yeah, but from
Well, I think it was from. There was one I heard from week 5 that he was 0 of 20.
Yeah, and 3 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Yeah. I think
so
that's partially going to be the Bucks. I think it's going to be Bucks' system that he's not very. He's shown he's not exactly comfortable in it. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't throw those ones to Gronk. And I think you're right, actually, if you look at when he was at the Patriots, a lot of those downfield throws would have been caught by Gronk. And I think that's the thing.
However, you look at the downfield receivers that the Bucks have. Mike Evans is incredible. 6'5", at least 200-pound target. Yeah. He's one of the best possession receivers you'll see.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin, incredible speed, gets open all the time. Scotty Miller's emerged a little bit this year, playing really well. Antonio Brown. They have all these weapons, but he's just not hitting on them. Yeah. And that is just going to be learning the new system.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Breeze, because they don't win either way. Well, they if they keep him and he plays well, they win, but then they've got to get rid of cap space somewhere else.
Yeah, and here's the thing I was just telling Nathan earlier, that a lot of teams are going to be okay because they'll jettison some players and then be able to draft to build up that roster that you've lost from basically releasing a load of players.
Yeah. Draft picks get a guaranteed contract as well at a certain level. So so
they're quite cheap per team. So they only account for maybe like a couple of million cap space each, or potentially even less than that.
Yeah.
So this is why I think the Saints are going to be really, really hard pressed in the coming year, unless they restructure some of these contracts ASAP to give them more money in future years, rather than this year.
Yeah.
Because they only have kind of 5 draft picks. They don't have enough draft picks to build up that roster again, so it's going to be really difficult for them.
It's going to be really, really tough for them.
What
other teams are going to struggle?
Right. Eagles are going to struggle massively. 65 million projected over the cap. Let's see how many picks they have. Okay, they have.
I imagine Eagles have quite an all right amount.
1, 2, 3. 2, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think you make a great question. Like, do you think any players will take a pay cut for the benefit of their team? There's this difficult balance in the NFL that I'm sure players would happily do that, but there's this sort of unspoken rule that you get paid how much you're worth, because otherwise the whole point of having a cap space doesn't work. So if every player...
I wouldn't call Gronk one of the nice ones, to be honest, for salary-wise. Brady, absolutely, his years in New England, every year he would take a really cap-friendly deal for his team. I mean, it helps when you're married to a supermodel who makes like 100 million.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also, Brady kind of constantly said he trusted Belichick to build the team, to use that money to build a team around him.
Yes.
And that's sort of the problem in other areas, is that not every team has that relationship between their staff and their quarterback that they're like, okay. Yeah. Well, oh gosh, sorry.
Yeah. No. So Brady's wife, Giselle, absolutely earns more than him. I think she's kind of 300 million or something at this point, and he's worth like 100.
Great question there from Kat as well, Sam. Is Dak going to be worth that 40 million?
Not in the current climate. I didn't think he was worth it to begin with.
I think he's worth 25, 30.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would put him at. But here's the problem: are they going to want to re-sign him?
I mean,
How-
I would, but
With the current with the cap situation going to be less,
yeah,
when you've lost 22 million in cap space, are you going to have the money to re-sign him
yeah,
to a big QB deal?
yeah,
But also, you say he had good stats before he went out. Stats don't necessarily correlate to wins. What I would, what I will say that
he's not wrong.
Cowboys were 2-3 with Minshew as well.
Yeah,
The Cowboys were 2-3 with Dak.
yeah,
And so you've got to think you've not started off the season very well. You've got a lot of good players around you. Yes, you've had that. Yes, you've had good stats, but have you translated that into being able to win games?
I think
Those are the players who you give big contracts to. Deshaun Watson does that a lot.
well,
The amount of the amount of plays he manages to make that puts his team in position to win.
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
I believe Dalvin Cook should get a massive contract. Derrick Henry gets a massive contract. Players who translate their abilities into winning situations.
yeah. No,
Who,
I
if
think
you've got
that's
them on the team, you will always have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Big contracts go to players who can win you games. I think that's why, like, Minshew's a really good point, is that statistically he's good. Like, I personally think that unless the Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick, they shouldn't go for a quarterback in the draft, because I think he's good. Because also there's more to winning games than your quarterback. But that's where those big contracts come in. If your quarterback is winning you games, then you pay them big money. So So I'm just thinking, like Sam said, Deshaun Watson, Mahomes, those guys deserve big money because they're making plays that put their team... Like, we constantly say, you don't need a quarterback to win games. I'm trying to think the best example of that at the moment is...
Saints.
Saints. Yeah. It does help.
It absolutely helps. Look at the Bengals.
Denver.
Denver.
Oh, actually, sorry, I've got a better example. The Colts. Philip Rivers isn't having the most amazing season. It's their defense, their run game, and also where they're excelling everywhere else, and that's why they're doing so well. And so yeah.
Also, franchise tagging players this year will be a lot more difficult because the cost of franchise tags is going to increase again. It always does.
Yeah.
And the cap space is decreasing, so that's going to be a really difficult one to manage.
Yeah. So franchise tag is the average of the top 5 salaries at
I believe
that
it's top
position.
10.
Top 10? I thought it was top 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get one franchise tag a year.
You get one transition tag as well.
Okay. And you want to put that on...
Yeah.
You want to put that on a player that you're not quite ready to give a big contract
to.
Deserve the good money.
Yeah. Exclusive franchise tag means a team will pay that player no less than the average of top 5 salaries or 120% of the player's previous salary, whichever is greater.
Okay.
And then I'll just quickly look up transition tag as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so with the cap space going down and player salaries going up, like Mahomes did this year, you don't really want to franchise tag your quarterback this year. Who was franchise tagged this year? Yannick Ngakoue was franchise tagged and then traded. So he's now at the Ravens, so he's going to need a contract, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens let him go again. Trying to think of who else was franchise tagged this year.
I believe Derrick Henry was, but then got a new deal. Dak is under the franchise tag at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Kenyon Drake's got a transition tag.
Okay.
Matthew Judon.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
AJ Green.
Another interesting one. Yeah.
Justin Simmons,
Gosh, yeah, that's good.
Chris Jones, Hunter Henry,
Didn't Chris
Anthony
Jones get a new?
Harris.
I thought Chris Jones got a deal done.
Yeah, I believe he has. This is must be an old website, but yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Anthony Harris, Joe Thuney, Leonard Williams, Bud Dupree, Shaq Barrett, Derek Henry, and Brandon Scherf.
Yeah. AJ Green's going to be a really interesting one.
He will.
Whether he decides to stay with the Bengals or not, because there's a bit of unrest there.
Yeah, I believe if a team can give him a Cam Newton style deal,
He'll go there.
yeah, like Packers give him a Cam Newton style deal, that'd be incredible.
Is Derek Henry worth more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Henry is worth everything you've got.
Yes.
He just possesses an unbelievable resilience that makes him. I think that's probably another good example as well. Like Tannehill's playing really well. Like all credit to Tannehill.
Yeah.
But when you've got a running back like Derek Henry, you only need a quarterback who can throw play action passes a bit like Kirk Cousins.
Also helps when you're built like a fridge, and you can run the ball at the speed that Derek Henry can.
Yeah.
I mean, his 6'3", 247.
Yeah. Crazy.
What's his combine? Yeah, 4.5, 40-yard speed.
Which is quicker than you think it is.
Yeah. If you think the record was 4.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with a player like Derek Henry, run the ball early and often. They may not go for much early, but it's Derek Henry. You don't. You get to the second half of the game, and you've got this 6'3", 247-pound man running at you. You're not going to want to tackle him after he's bruised and battered you 16 other times already in that game.
Yeah, you're going to start to take notice.
Yeah, and you're going to lax the tackles, not hit as hard because you don't want to be hurt. Yeah, he's massive. He recently hit 5,000 rushing yards.
Yeah. Had a slow start to his career, but he's really picked it up. Like it's
Yeah.
been good. It's been fun to watch. It's just like, yeah, it's becoming a really interesting point in the league where most teams are really solid at quarterback. So this is a really interesting draft where there aren't very many QB prospects. There are just two really great ones, and
Yeah.
and it's interesting that most teams are like, actually, I don't necessarily need it. I think it's a unique situation in which you potentially have a generational talent in Trevor Lawrence, and the teams that aren't doing very well at QB are actually like, actually, I've sort of got a serviceable option if I improve the rest of my team, like like Sam Darnold and Minshew, and so the one team that would be like, yes, please, is probably the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bears looked lost, and I will love talking about this. Green Bay Packers absolutely walloped them. It was 41-10 at the beginning of the final quarter.
Yeah.
And then, it was basically 2 garbage time touchdowns for the Bears to get something going on offense. But defensively, Packers showed up and played amazingly. Offensively, Aaron Rodgers on fire. 4 touchdowns, no picks. Darnell Savage had 2 picks, which was great for him to see him starting to break out. He's been incredible. Preston Smith finally showed up. Fumble return for a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers wasn't sacked all game despite best center in the league going down injured on the third play.
Yeah. Kat, you're leading me into that. Sorry, I'll let Sam finish and then I'm going to go into Kat's question.
But yeah, no, that's because I said this to Nathan earlier. Elgton Jenkins is a phenom.
Yeah.
Drafted 2 seasons ago by the Packers. So he's in his 2nd season now. He has started at every position along the offensive line. And he didn't allow a sack in his rookie year. And he was the starting left guard.
Yeah.
And he's continued that sort of form and is playing centre now because Corey Lindsey's out. And he's been incredible. And Packers have a lot of O-line depth. That's something I noticed.
Yeah. Do you want to hear
a lot of O-line depth helps.
Do you want to hear an interesting statistic this week?
Go on.
The Buccaneers, when they played the Rams, got absolutely smashed. But
Yeah.
but despite getting absolutely smashed, moved their centre to left guard so that he could face Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald didn't record a single defensive statistic that entire game.
Oh.
So the Buccaneers have clearly got some good
Yeah.
O-line there. It's,
Yeah, and then they went to Rams went to the 49ers, and Aaron Donald had a game.
yeah.
See if I can find how many sacks he had, but I'm not sure if he was in the top 5 in sacks entering the game, and now he's number 1.
That's Aaron Donald for you, yeah.
Yeah. If my internet would catch up. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Ravens game because I have opinions. So Sam and I kind of coming into this week, I was like, okay, I have a couple of things I want to talk about. Sam was like, oh, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about. The Ravens game is one of mine because it's really starting to frustrate me because I completely like you're saying, Kat. There seems to be this double standard between the Ravens Steelers game and other games that. The NFL, in some spaces, are like, we must crack down on COVID, so they find the Saints a bunch of money and some draft pick, and not draft picks, just a 7th round draft pick.
That's for repeat offensives.
For repeat offences of breaking the
COVID. Did the same with the Raiders, except they find them a 6th round pick rather than a 7th earlier this year. And
they find coaches, kind of multiple coaches, different amounts of money for the same thing. For kind of breaking the rules. And I'm going to get pick 6. No, go Cam. No, I lost. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, and yeah, you look at earlier in the season. Maybe it's because the Ravens and the Steelers have both had bye weeks, but you look earlier in the season and the league was kind of like, okay, yeah, you're just going to have a bye week this week, and then we'll play kind of later in the season.
Yeah.
And all of these things. And so, yes, it's later in the season and all of these things. But you're absolutely right that the Broncos, I thought this week was just interesting, is... What's his name? The Broncos. Sorry, Broncos. All 4 quarterbacks out with COVID. They've had to go to an emergency quarterback. This would usually happen in the NFL.
Mike Hinton, I believe he went 1 of 9 for 9 yards, or 1 of 13 for 9 yards and an interception.
I thought that was his college statistics, but I may be wrong.
No, that's why he had in the game. I think he only completed 1 pass, but I'll check.
I just understood how the Carson Wentz reference grew up like that. Yeah, exactly. It's like... yes, it's unfair, but at the same time, if all 4 quarterbacks were just ill or injured or something, that is what would happen.
Yeah.
But then, and you can kind of say how fair is that? Kind of, if all 4 quarterbacks were injured and stuff, they'd be able to sign like a backup quarterback or something to play or something. You would think, and you would think because this is COVID rather than kind of injury and illness that there would be more lax. But it's like, no, you are playing this game. You are doing what you can. Whereas the Ravens game was moved from Thursday all the way... It's now being played on Wednesday.
This will be the longest week in NFL history.
Yes, they will, because we had Thursday games up to Wednesday.
It would have been even if the Steelers game was on Tuesday.
Oh, fair enough.
Because of the Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving games being early.
Being slightly early, yeah. And it just... It does seem to be preferential treatment, because part of me would just say, just call the game void. So you either you don't count it, so that there are a bunch of options. Either you don't count it, so it doesn't count as a loss or a win for both teams, so their win percentage will still count. They'll just have 1 game less than every other team.
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me because they're in the same division, so it's not necessarily going to change things going forward. Or you... They should give the Cowboys a W. They don't even deserve that. Or you count both teams as a tie. And I know lots of Steelers fans will be going, that's so unfair, kind of, we're undefeated. That was a ridiculous interception. I don't count that one. And they're kind of like, oh, our undefeated season, it's unfair. It's the Ravens with the COVID players, and kind of, I can't, kind of, what about our undefeated season? And so part of me says then, well, if the Ravens are the ones constantly, repeatedly, kind of breaking the rules, and they're the ones that keep getting positive tests, they're not. It's not, the reason that they're constantly postponing it is not because these players are still positive. It's because there are new players becoming positive each time, I believe.
Yeah, so I've just got a little site up here. Yeah, the reason that they keep on postponing it is because the Ravens, it's not contained.
Yeah.
So whereas with the Broncos, it was contained, they dealt with it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Baltimore, they keep on, as you said, new players keep on popping up and getting added to the list.
Yeah.
And so they keep on postponing it.
It's just like you said, and then that feels like the Broncos, like you say, they contained it, and so the league has just gone, okay, treat it as if they were just injuries, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. It's a little harsh, but it makes sense. With the Ravens, they're not containing it, and the league aren't punishing them, and they're just still postponing. The other option I can see happening, which I quite like, and the league has discussed this, is having a week 18. So just kind of having 1 week where kind of all these postponed games happen at that time. I think that's the best and the fairest option.
So that's, at the same time, I think, if I can remember, that is something the league has said, that they will get all games played in an within week 18, essentially.
Yeah.
So if there's games that haven't been played, I believe they'll be on that week 18 playoffs be postponed by a week.
Yeah. You could even, if you were feeling really pushy, you could even think about like a week 19 and try and just fit it in, because the Steelers would be on a short week, or both the Steelers and the Ravens I think would be on short weeks anyway, because they were going to play on Thanksgiving. So why not just give them a shorter week further down the line and have them play on a Thursday night and then postpone their regular season game for that week to a Tuesday or something? You see what I mean? Because I get that there's a whole television thing, but that's sort of my problem with the whole process, is that a lot of these decisions are sort of being made with kind of... it feels like a lot of these decisions are like, we can't have too many games on Tuesday night because TV and things, and...
Yeah.
I don't know. And I agree, it's unfair on the Steelers as well. I feel... It just feels like a situation where lots of teams... Some teams are taking it really seriously. Some teams have had very, very few COVID cases. Some have had some, dealt with it, it's come back and stuff, and you think, okay, well, they've tried to do it, they've just failed. But the Ravens are clearly not containing this. And I feel like something needs to be done about it. I don't know what that is. What do you think, chat? I'm intrigued. My opinion would either be go for the Week 18 thing, or actually potentially hand the Ravens the loss, because they're the ones postponing it for the Steelers. Or I quite like the idea of the tie.
Definitely need to be I think they need to be fined a pick.
Okay.
I absolutely need to be fined a pick, potentially even a 4th round pick.
Gosh, that's... Yeah.
Because of the constant postponing the games. The effect that takes on both teams. You think, our game's on Thursday. Oh, no, it's been postponed to Sunday. Okay, we'll prepare for Sunday. Oh, wait, no, it's postponed to Monday. It's postponed to Tuesday. It's postponed to Wednesday. You keep on thinking, we've got the game then, and then it gets changed. Yeah. So your preparation has to change again.
Yeah. And give I think the Broncos deserve an apology.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you postpone the Broncos game to give them a little bit more time? Like.
Yeah. I think that this is something I've felt with the league, that apologies aren't enough.
Yeah.
With the NFL, they need to do something about it. It's very similar to the whole Black Lives Matter movement that started that became a big thing in the NFL 3 or 4 years ago, and it was only in this off season in 2020 that the NFL was like, "Oh, we're sorry, we realise we didn't do anything." That's not enough. You're 3 years too late to this.
Yeah.
You need to do something about it.
Yeah, I really like the give the Broncos the Ravens pick idea. I like that one.
Yeah,
Or what was the give the Steelers the win. A couple of give the Steelers the win. I agree personally. And yeah, a pick find. Yeah, I think they've been unfair on a few teams. And yeah, I think you're right, Sam. That actually apologies mean nothing unless you see results afterwards.
yeah, it's something with referee calls as well.
Oh, absolutely. Oh gosh, yeah.
That it's horrendous. You see Saints losing in overtime, or Saints losing in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago because of the bad PI call.
Yeah.
And you get the referee saying, "Oh, sorry, that's our bad.
Do you want to hear
we did something wrong."
Do you want to hear something funny
and
about
then you don't
as
get
well?
any compensation.
The funny thing I found about that one is they brought in that you could review pass interference calls, as in when the coach throw their challenge flag, you could review that, and so everyone was doing it because there was so much pass interference in the league that was going unnoticed. That's why they brought the rule in. But then, sorry, I just find this ridiculous. I'm struggling to say it with a straight face. They brought it in because it was happening so much in the league, and also it was on national television in the middle of the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
So they allowed coaches to review it. So coaches reviewed it constantly, and games slowed down massively because it was happening so often.
Yeah.
And so the league then takes the ability to review those plays back out. It's just like you say, it's kind of like, oh, we're sorry that this happened. Oh, look, we've done some action to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Oh, wait, now we've just taken that away.
We've taken it back the very next season, yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
And yeah, as a Jags fan, there were so many... Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay, let me get my words straight. Another thing that they brought into the league. The Jaguars, in the season the Eagles won the Super Bowl, the Jaguars were obviously beating the Patriots. Patriots had a miraculous comeback, fair play to them.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, taken away because the referee thought that the player's knee was down. It was not, it was a fumble, and so because he wasn't allowed to return it for a touchdown, the Jaguars just get the fumble recovery.
Yeah.
And that changes the game massively. And so the NFL brings in a rule. They say the referee, or it wasn't a rule, but they were saying to referees, you are not allowed to call a play dead until it has kind of fully resolved. So if there is ever a question of a fumble or an interception, you are not allowed to blow the whistle because it is easier to go back on the review and overturn it than it is to give them the touchdown if it is a fumble.
Yeah.
They have not been doing that.
They have not, no. They have gotten better at it.
They have gotten better at it, but on the whole...
But they're still not doing it very well.
They're still not doing it very well.
Yeah.
And there are kind of... It's not hard to see examples kind of week in, week out. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a Jags fan...
That's the thing. The referees are kind of... A lot of the time they're all right, but I think, especially this year that I've seen, they've missed some really bad calls.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of games with every NFL, or with every refereeing group, they've missed some bad calls.
Yeah. And referees are human. I like that. That's fair enough. Like, we need to give the referees some slack. They're human. They miss things, but also it's their jobs, and also they have the ability to review things. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Like
I think there should be something with challenges so that you can have maybe one challenge, and if you lose that, it doesn't get you don't get a timeout loss. But if you challenge it a second time, or if you challenge something else a second time in that half and it does, then you lose a timeout. And subsequent ones you lose timeouts. I feel like coaches don't challenge... I feel like coaches should be able to challenge some of these penalties as well. So that's the thing that I was looking at earlier. You can't challenge a play and then get a penalty on it.
Yes, yeah.
So if they haven't called a penalty on the play, they won't call a penalty on the play from your challenge.
No. Which is ridiculous,
and I think that it's ridiculous, and I think that's something that absolutely should be in the game. But with the pass interference is a big thing. So yeah, no, it absolutely
Yeah, no,
needs to
I,
happen.
yeah, and I agree. I agree, Matt, that having VAR in the Premier League has been really interesting because it's another league with video referees, and being able to
Yeah,
compare it and see that referees really struggle. Like, it doesn't matter what league it is, what
yeah.
video it is. They yeah,
The NFL has always been bounded by clear and obvious. Those have
I
been
like
the two
yeah.
words that kind of encapsulate every decision, and that's where I start to have problems because when there is a clear and obvious call that they haven't made,
Yeah,
um,
it's like that old
then yeah,
saying, like I like the clear and obvious wording. I think it's great. But there's this
yeah,
kind of this saying that if it's clear and obvious to millions of people at their homes and not the referee, like
yeah,
you're not doing your job right. Like
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
great.
But yeah, no, it makes me think that maybe they should have like another referee in the box who can see everything from above, um, like we can see things
Yeah.
from the cameras.
But this is what I was thinking about VAR as well. Is like VAR has, for those who watching who don't know what VAR is, it's the sort of the review system
Virtual
in the
assistant referee.
yeah, it's the review system in the English Premier League, where kind of our football or soccer for the Americans,
You.
and and they have a separate team watching these things, and they will flag things to the referee to say, I think you should,
Yeah,
you need to look at this. What I don't understand is if they've said you need to look at this, why can't they just phone the ref and go, okay, we've decided that this is this, change it.
yeah,
Like why do we have to have one referee that makes all decisions? Why can't we have a couple of referees who make, like, wouldn't it be so much quicker rather than the review guys going, hey ref, we've had a look at this, we want you to come see this. Ref trots over, spends 5 minutes looking at a screen, and then decides not to change anything.
yeah,
Why can't we have that guy go, okay, we've had a look at this, just do what we say and change it.
yeah. Well,
And
that's
then
something that happens in rugby,
is it okay?
which yeah,
Oh yeah, of course it does. Yeah, yeah.
watching stuff like international rugby, you get the guy in the earpiece of the ref saying that we have reason to believe that this is a whatever.
And then
Ref will have a quick look at it and agree.
and the ref also watches that the on like the on the big screen as well. They don't go to a small
Yeah,
box. It's on the big screen in front of all the fans.
yeah,
And like that's a really open way of doing it. And
yeah,
yeah, and I really appreciate that. That's really
yeah.
it's a really good way of doing it. There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, checks. Fans complaining about the rest. Yeah, we could have had a Super Bowl if that had happened. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think we could have
Defense was
competed
good
against
enough
the
to.
Eagles.
Yeah. On the topic of Eagles,
Sam's going to.
I wanted to talk about this. So many problems. So many
and
problems.
their massive cap. They're like, remember that cap?
And you're going to be 65 million over the cap next season. It's not looking good.
No. No, it is not.
Yeah, you're third in the league in total turnovers. Um, your QB is not playing very well at all. He's currently on like a 70 passer rating.
One of the worst in the league, if not the
Yeah.
worst.
He has most interceptions in the league with 15. Guess who's next? Fun fact, actually.
In interceptions,
Yeah. This is actually quite interesting.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yes.
11. Guess who's next to? Both on 11. Sorry, this is going to be a
Daniel
little
Jones?
tangent. No.
I'm not sure.
Kirk Cousins, Drew Lock.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then there's two QBs on 10. You will not get these. Or you might get one of them.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on fire. Okay. 10. I'm not sure actually.
Jared Goff.
Oh yeah. He had a really bad game against someone. I can't remember. I just remember reading like somewhere like he was really struggling.
Yeah. But when your QB has a worse passer rating than someone that's only started 5 games.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Carson Wentz.
Right. Has
Alex Smith has, he has 73.4 passer rating.
sorry, Alex
yeah.
Smith. Right, yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah,
Alex
I'm on board
Smith
now.
has an 81.3 passer rating.
Gosh.
And Carson Wentz
he
has a
has played
58% completion rate, which is one of the lowest in the league.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is only above Drew Lock and Sam Darnold in passer rating.
Yeah.
So you've got to think that, yes, something's up with your QB.
Yeah.
He's not playing very well. He's one of the worst in average yards per throw, or per attempt even.
Yeah.
He's the most sacked QB in the league.
I think that's something to bear in mind as well, because I think this was just something I was thinking about the Jaguars. It's... Yeah, like...
Yeah, this is why I'm saying it's not entirely his fault. Yes, he's been playing very poorly. However, he's been sacked 11 more times than the next QB.
Yeah.
He's been sacked 46 times.
Yeah.
And his record was, I believe it was 26 last year or 36 last year, was the most he'd been sacked in a season. He's been sacked 46 times and he's still got 5 games to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to bear that in mind. If you're constantly getting hit, you're going to start making decisions that aren't good.
Yeah.
because you know in your head you've got less time to throw it than you think you do. And
yeah.
And also, if you, like we were saying, kind of good QBs win you games and stuff, and he's probably thinking that a lot, like, I need to win this game for my team. Like, if the O-line aren't going to protect me, I need to be the one to make the Deshaun Watson and the Mahomes types of plays.
He led his team in rushing yards last week, or against the Seahawks this week, and he had 32 rushing yards total.
Yeah, exactly.
And that led his team.
Yeah. So I understand why everyone thinks he's not doing well. He is not playing well. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, he's playing terribly, yeah.
But I
it's
think
not all his fault.
I don't think it's all his fault, and I don't think he's a bust, and I don't think he's trash, as some people are saying. I think if you look at his whole body of work, then his first ever season wasn't amazing, but he was just getting to grips with it. He then went for 2 seasons, one of which was just 13-3. Yes, he got injured before the playoffs both of those times.
But it was playoff caliber team.
Yeah, and he's clearly good enough to lead his team to a Super Bowl. Yeah. And like you say, with those rushing yards and things, even with the O-line he's got, even with the team he's got, this is something we don't bear in mind as well. He's about as good as kind of either like Daniel Jones or kind of Andy Dalton and Dak and things. And he's like, people say he's trash, but we think about these other QBs and we kind of say, okay, there's a lot of talent there, but they're not playing very well. Why don't we give Wentz the same treatment? Because he's got...
The problem is, with Wentz, there are no other pieces of talent on that offense anymore.
I think the Eagles potentially are in rebuild mode now, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They've been in rebuild mode for a long time.
They keep waiting for these like star receivers to come back, but these star receivers are like Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. Like, and yes, they're always injured, and yes, you're going to want them back, but at the same time, let's cut and move. Yeah. Kind of move shot. Yeah. Sanders is a good young running back, but he's kind of stuck behind this really tragic O-line.
Really old O-line as well.
And Lane Johnson's injured out for the season now.
And Peters is very, very injured as well. He's always injured. He's always old. I think he's 38 now, playing left tackle or right tackle.
Yeah. No, Matt, I don't mean to keep getting sacked. I just didn't notice him.
And so you're behind this very aging and very porous O-line. And when you've got receivers who aren't catching the ball, there's a big history of drops in Eagles.
Which is quite funny because Nelson Aguilar, who was dropped, ironically, for dropping the ball, I think is the receiver with the least drops this season.
Yeah, he's at the Raiders and is playing really well. Is having a bigger breakout year. But here's a couple of receivers in over their last two drafts who they've picked. So they picked J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Yep.
Guess who was drafted after him, who was still on the board?
After Arcega-Whiteside?
Yeah.
This was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And this year, he was drafted... They drafted Mims?
Jalen Reagor.
Oh, Jalen Reagor, not Denzel Mims.
Denzel Mims is at Jets. They drafted Jalen Reagor. Justin Jefferson was still on the board.
Justin Jefferson was made one pick later.
Yeah.
I remember watching the draft with Tori, and Tori's a Vikings fan, and as soon as they picked Jalen Reagor, I was just like, I just went, the Vikings have just hit the lottery. I was like, I literally, like I said, like I watched those two picks come in, and I just said to Tori, the Vikings have got the better deal out of that. Like, Jalen Reagor was a great receiver at college, but Justin Jefferson was just another caliber. Yes, he had Joe Burrow throwing to him at LSU, but still. Right.
Yeah. But this is something that I've noticed. The Eagles are consistently not drafting the best players available.
No.
And waiting for them to develop, and they haven't. So that's got to be...
Sorry, Tori, not understanding what was going on when I was talking about the draft. Understandable.
Yeah, that's got to be a big thing on the whole front office and coaching. You've got your front office making the picks and saying they'll develop into really good players.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff going, oh, we've now not got a very good player who we can't develop. And the coaching, and partially the coaching staff not being able to develop these players isn't helping.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a whole organisational mess. And Doug Pederson should rightly be scared for his job.
Yeah. Just disappointed they didn't have the boats. I know we missed out on potentially the best draft of all time. Like,
yeah.
With boats in Vegas,
Yeah.
Seeing as we're talking about front office, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the firings this week. One of which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
So the Jaguars fired their general manager Dave Caldwell.
Yeah.
Which, well, before we say it's an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing.
Long time coming.
Well, you say that. It's interesting. I was kind of looking back at his career as Jaguars general manager. His drafting, for the majority, he made some amazing draft picks. We're thinking Allen Robinson, Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, Josh Allen, Leonard Fournette. Trying to think who else.
We also think they didn't re-sign any of those players.
But that's exactly it, isn't it? His draft, his talent spotting, incredible.
Yeah.
None of those players were re-signed.
James Robinson.
Well, he was undrafted, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, exactly.
Picking him up as a UDFA.
Yeah,
being able
exactly.
To see, he's there. So let's pick him up.
He's clearly a really good talent spotter.
Yeah.
But he, like you say, he has never signed any of those players to a second deal. Guess who the only player, the only first rounder we re-signed to a second deal was?
Let's have a think.
It's not that hard.
Is it DJ Chark?
No.
Cam Robinson?
No. Blake Bortles.
Oh, Blake Bortles. Oh no.
Yeah. So and I think that's the thing as general manager. He's brought some great players into the team, but hasn't been able to re-sign them. And so actually that it just it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So general manager, great question, Tori. General manager is, when I say manages the team, is like the really basic. When I see manages
basically
the team,
manages the roster. Thank
you. That's the best word for it. So they are in charge of acquiring players, drafting, kind of. They manage the team. They are in charge of kind of scouting and sending everyone out. They are the head guy who is kind of directing the administration side of the team.
Yeah, they're in charge of who's on the team and who's not.
exactly.
is the very basic form
Thank you.
of
Yeah,
it.
that's a much better way of saying it. And that's the thing is like with all that talent, the Jags almost got to a Super Bowl, but
Yeah,
then didn't. And actually, a lot of the off-season moves we made this year of kind of cleaning house, I also don't disagree with because
yeah,
lots of players left because of the toxicity of Tom Coughlin,
yeah,
and so he was cleaning a lot of that out as well and bringing in a new generation. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Yes, so great question as well, Tori. Jerry Jones is owner and general manager of the Cowboys.
yeah.
Bill Belichick
Bill, Bill,
is head coach and general
okay.
manager of the Patriots.
Bill
Yeah,
O'Brien was head coach and general manager of the Texans, but he didn't do either job very well.
no, no, he didn't really, sadly.
He was a decent head coach,
Yeah,
but
and that's
as a general manager, he was absolutely terrible.
yeah, and that's why actually the Patriots have had their dynasty for so long because Bill Belichick just he knows
Yeah,
how to build a team, and so because he was
he's been allowed to build his team as well.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, no, absolutely.
So he's
Which
allowed
is
to be, this is the scheme I'm playing, these are the players I want. Give
yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, and he built a very good team there. Whereas the opposite of
Yeah.
that is uh, Mr. Bill O'Brien, who traded away the best receiver in the league for a running back.
For pennies, essentially,
Yeah,
yeah.
um,
And when you have the worst one of the worst rushing
yeah,
games in the league,
yeah, yeah.
it's not a very fruitful trade.
No,
They didn't even get a first round pick out of
no. I know.
Yeah,
Not DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah,
DeAndre. So I
yeah.
missed. Yeah,
So the Jags. And what that signifies that they've fired the Jags had fired their general manager, not their head coach as well, is that they're going to keep the head coach for the season, which I think makes sense.
yeah,
But then that also it seems to mean that the coach is going. They're gonna redo everything in Jacksonville, and build. And I think they're set up for a new generation of Jacksonville players because they're all really young. Whether you draft a QB
yeah.
or not, into a new generation. And I think there are some really great coaches out there. So, like Eric Bieniemy, we've talked about before.
He will go on to be an incredible
Yeah.
head coach.
Oh, that was a bad throw.
Coming from, I think that's the Bill Belichick tree,
Yeah, yeah.
isn't it? Andy Reid coming down from that tree. Got
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy coming from there as well.
Um,
Coming down from Andy Reid, yeah.
yeah. Well, the Bill Belichick tree isn't quite as successful as people think it is.
No, not at all. Bill O'Brien,
Yeah.
Matt Patricia. Thank you, Lions.
Yeah, here
Sorry.
we go. Lions fire head coach Matt Patricia and general
And
manager. Which
general
makes a good
manager.
point because
Good.
what we think about the Lions have just not got anyone. Like that is like basically if your team is not bringing in anyone or drafting anyone good to help your
Yeah.
team build and develop, that's the general manager's fault and that's the Lions' fault. Like
Yeah,
just the fact that they haven't brought in enough talent to make this team better is beyond me.
yeah.
They also got rid of a load of guys this year. Like they got rid of their top cornerback.
Darius Slay, yeah.
Darius Slay, big play Slay.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? It's like so that's really good down there. And I think
I
think
believe
though
they got
Lions-
they got a lot of draft capital from him though. I believe
Yeah, they did, yeah.
they didn't lose that trade by any means.
I can see the Lions kind of building from here. Actually, interestingly, because
Yeah, so they're in need of a build.
they've got
really.
a new owner. The owner's daughter, I think it's her daughter, has just taken over.
Okay.
So the Lions are one of the very few teams in the league that have a female ownership. And she's just passed on responsibilities. I think it's her daughter. And so I can see the Lions. So that's quite a big move, kind of.
Yes,
just taking over.
So Martha
Just take-
Firestone Ford,
Yeah,
former principal owner,
yeah,
has just stepped down. In June this year, to be succeeded by her daughter Sheila Fordhamp.
yeah. It wouldn't surprise. It's a kind of a big step by a new owner, but it wouldn't surprise me if actually there's a new generation going on down there in
Yeah.
Detroit as well. Kind of, and it'll be interesting to see. I think Stafford will end up becoming a mentor to that new generation. Are there any female GMs? No. That's a really good point. Darius Slay sounds like a villain. Yeah, absolutely. Female
Yes.
GMs. I don't.
There's one.
There's one.
Give me a second.
This is something that when kind of Sam and I were talking about the league
Oh wait.
apology. No.
Sorry. Yeah. Continue. I'll find this.
Okay. When Sam and I were talking about are the league doing anything beyond their apologies, we were like, we want to see action. One of the things the NFL are doing is, I don't know if it's for female coaches, but if you hire a person of colour to be a coach or a general manager or those sorts of positions, you will be given you will just be given a draft pick to encourage them to do so.
Yeah.
Which I like. I think that's a really good way of incentivizing. I say incentivizing. There shouldn't be incentives. They should just be picking these coaches anyway.
Yeah.
But it's a good way of kind of getting these coaches in. I hope that the same applies for women as well, but we don't know and we can't tell.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so there isn't any female GMs. There was one between 82 and 85,
Oh wow.
I believe. Susan Spencer,
Okay.
the NFL's first and only female GM. But while we're at it, who was it? First woman to play college football in the Power 5
Yeah.
for Vanderbilt.
I saw a really funny video this week. Go follow SEC Shorts if you like college football. They're really funny. It's all about SEC football, and it was a great kind of comedy video. It was like all these fans have come up to see Sarah kick for Vanderbilt, and the whole joke is basically that she's not going to get to kick because Vanderbilt are so bad. And guess what? That sort of happened. Vanderbilt was so bad she was not able to kick a field goal. I think. Yeah, we had Kate, the first female coach. I think she's gone on to... I don't think she's actually a coach. I read somewhere like this week that I think she was an assistant coach who filled in for the actual coaching position this week because the other guy was
Yes.
at the birth of his child. So
Yeah. Was tight end coach, I believe.
yeah, sounds about right. So things are happening, but at the same time, the league isn't doing enough. But I think the problem is it's very much ingrained within the attitude of those organisations rather than a thing that the NFL can stop. Like with the whole Kaepernick situation, it wasn't so much Roger Goodell saying no, you can't be a part of the league. It was more the owners didn't want him to be a part of their team because they thought it would lose them money, and that's and I don't understand why that would stop them hiring kind of coaches of color or women, but as we've seen around the world this year and in Britain, like if you haven't heard about this Tesco's advert or Sainsbury's advert that's been pulled, like
that was horrendous.
It's been revealed that there are some things innately within societies and the human mind that don't want these things to happen, and I think the world is a sadder place for it. So I'm really hopeful that the Lions get something going under that ownership, because it's different from all the rest of the old white men basically.
Just to clarify my comment. Sorry.
So I just want to clarify my comment first.
Go on.
Being old, being white, or being a man is not, or a combination of any of those three, is not a bad thing. It is just you tend to get old age attitudes amongst that people.
Yes.
Being a white man myself, I'm not here to diminish all white men everywhere. Just that they're within old white men, that people group, there tends to be old kind of.
I also think
there's
there's
values.
I think there's not enough done by specifically our kind of demographic to aid minorities and just everyone essentially to help those people get involved in these things and be able to get the jobs they want. Yeah.
It's really difficult.
I would like to clarify.
Go on,
Sorry,
go on.
me saying it was horrendous in regards to the Sainsbury's advert. That I was saying it's horrendous. The response that they got from that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So they basically aired a Christmas advert, but the family was black.
Yeah,
And there was an incredible amount of people saying, "This isn't my Christmas.
yeah. This isn't my Britain or something.
This doesn't look like Christmas to me." And then I even saw that some comments were saying stuff about like why is the father there, things like that.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Some incredibly racist and horrible comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what I was saying was horrendous in regards
yeah.
to that. I'd just like to further clarify.
Yeah. Well, apologies to all the people who didn't want to hear about politics from
Yes.
from that NFL show. But actually, what is really interesting about the NFL is actually because the NFL is so big and overtakes so much of American culture and kind of seeping into British culture now, that actually it can't help but impact these parts of the world. And like I think someone said that the NFL is like a microcosm of America, and actually the way it I think that is really evident in some of the attitudes it has, and which is really sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ooh, should we talk about predictions?
Go on, let's go to move to some predictions.
Just saw the time. Let's move on. Right. Oh, come on. If I can get them up. Ravens Steelers predictions. Will the game go on, or will the?
I think the game will go ahead, but
postponed.
it's going to make things a whole lot worse. If the game goes ahead, by the
Yes.
sounds of it, Lamar Jackson won't be playing because he was.
No, he won't. No.
So I think the Steelers win it,
Yeah.
unless Trace McSorley, I don't know, becomes the internet legend he's
Yes.
become.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. I think if it goes on, Steelers win.
Yeah.
It's
It'll
week
never happen.
13 almost. We've got a lot of divisional matchups. Saints Falcons.
Ooh, I think this one will be close.
I think so too, because
I do think-
Taysom Hill's still in.
Taysom Hill played well, eventually.
No,
Eventually. And by well, I mean... didn't
there were
completely blow
92
the game.
total passing yards in that game.
Yeah, but then he ran for 2 touchdowns or something. Like,
Yeah.
I would be tempted to still pick the Saints, but the Falcons had a really good game against the Raiders, so...
That was impressive. Derek Carr turned the ball over 4 times, I believe.
Yeah. But that might just be Derek Carr, and I think the Saints aren't as turnover prone, so...
No.
So I think I agree with
I
our
still
shout.
pick the
I
Saints
think-
because their defense is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
However, don't sleep on the Falcons.
No, I think it'll be close to... I think it'll be something like maybe 28-18 or something. I don't know. That was a random number, but we'll go with it.
I would
think-
say more 28-25.
Okay, I think it's still probably going to be 7-8 points in it, I think. That's my prediction.
Fair enough. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my prediction.
I can see that completely. But Falcons looked incredibly good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, played well. Defense stepped up, which
Yeah.
is what they need, because their offense has been fine.
yeah.
They might not have Julio Jones back, which might be a bit of a problem, but
Yes, but they have Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage.
Yeah,
Russell
yeah.
Gage?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Who are
Olamide
both
Zacchaeus.
great.
What a day.
Yeah, he's played really well.
He has played well.
But yeah, winning, I think, what was it? 43-6 against the Raiders. That's, yeah. They're going to take a lot of,
43-6.
yeah,
Gosh.
they're going to take a lot of confidence from that game. And they're just going to, I think that they'll put up a massive fight, but I think Saints
Yeah.
win. Ooh, Lions, Bears. Oh, this could be a bad game.
I think... What happened...
Lion. Lions lost badly to the Texans.
Yeah.
It was 41-25.
25 points is still more than the Bears got against Green Bay, so...
Bears got 25.
Oh, did they? I thought they got 21 or something.
No, they got 25, but that was all the garbage time touchdowns.
Sorry, I completely agree with... I was literally about to say I completely agree with Kat. I think it ends 14-14 as a tie. I don't think...
Yeah, I can see...
like...
I can very much see it being a tie. But I think Lions, if it's not a tie.
I feel Lions are slightly more deadly, but at the same time, if the Bears actually step it up on defense,
neither team has what it takes to win.
Well, that's the funny thing is the Bears started out the year really well, so I can't.
I think a lot of it, partially, it was a fluke.
3-3 tie. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 6-0 or something, or 9-3.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I am calling Lions.
I'm going to call Bears because I can see the defense taking this one as well. We need to step up and win this game.
Okay. Colts Texans.
Colts, no question.
Yeah, I mean Texans did just score 41 points.
I know, but it's the Colts. Yes, the Colts played badly, but I still see.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say the Bears are nothing without Foles. They went like 3-0 with Trubisky, so...
Yeah, they started off 3-0, but the offense wasn't the thing that won them the game.
No. It is up to their defense. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think Colts as well, sorry for that game.
Yeah. Colts had a bad game, but they'll Blankenship the GOAT!
Yeah.
God, I love Blankenship. Oh, did you hear that just on other news? The Colts punter is going in for surgery on a cancerous tumour.
Yeah.
When's that, Thursday or was that today?
I can't remember.
Today. Well, either way, our
Rigoberto Sanchez.
Yeah, our best wishes to him. Great punter.
Yeah.
That'll be that's quite something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, wishing him all the best as well.
Yeah.
Next game, Bengals-Dolphins. Bengals struggled, as did the Dolphins.
Yeah.
However, the Dolphins did beat the Jets in the end.
It was the Jets, though. Let's not. Joe Burrow's having his operation soon as well, so kind of best to him.
I mean, he'll be out for another 9 months. But,
the Bengals being out, Joe Burrow being out shows that the Bengals, shows how much he contributes to that team.
Yes.
And why picking a quarterback doesn't actually make you a better team.
Yeah.
But that said, I would be more inclined to see the Bengals beat the Dolphins.
They have a decent chance.
The Jets. I'd say the Dolphins struggled against the Jets, but it's the Jets, and I think that the Bengals are a whole lot better than the Jets. So I can see the Bengals winning it if the Dolphins continue to struggle. But the Dolphins did find their way, and I can't see them losing it. I think it's got to be Dolphins.
Same. Tua is still questionable, but Brian Fitzpatrick is.
It's good. Fitzpatrick is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, your Jaguars. They play the 5-6 Vikings.
Ooh, we might actually win this week. Wait, what status is Cook? Is Cook good?
I believe he's good.
Okay. Because the Jaguars were a 2-point
He doesn't carry an injury. He doesn't carry an injury designation.
Okay. The Jaguars have played some It really depends which. It really depends which teams want to come and play, because the Jaguars started the season well, had a little bit of a blip in the middle, and then suddenly against the better teams decided that they wanted to come play again. So the Jaguars, yes, they're 1-10, but I think only 3 or 4 of those games were decided by more than one score. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be it's going to be a really good game because both teams can play physical offense.
it would be really interesting to see the Jaguars' physical defense come up against Dalvin Cook. I think that's
Yes.
the key. I think that's the key matchup. If they can stuff Cook,
Hit him hard to start the game.
yeah. If they can
Don't
stuff,
don't injure him. Hit him hard.
yeah,
Get him a little shaken, and go. Oh, this defense is actually good and is going to hit me.
yeah. Kat, you say started the season well. Only one. We were lost by 3 to the Titans, and we look at how good the Titans are now. So, and also like
Yeah.
this is the thing. Is Minshew back? He may be back. I don't think he will.
Does it matter?
But that's exactly the thing. Luton played badly.
He's still questionable.
Okay, Glennon played half decently, but I think having all 3 of these quarterbacks in just shows that the Jaguars' offense is not the problem. 25 points with Mike Glennon as our quarterback. Like James Robinson is playing. He's playing phenomenally.
Inspired
Like-
football. He's very close to breaking a record of most yards from scrimmage for a UDFA.
Yeah, it just.
I think it's about 150 yards off.
Yeah, that's like. I personally think of the current quarterbacks, Minshew gives the Jaguars the best chance to win. I think the
Yes.
Jaguars. It will also the key. So the key matchups are Jaguars against Cook, because if Cook can run, they're done. If not, Kirk Cousins isn't good enough to win this game in his arm. The other
No,
problem
but I still believe in the Vikings receiver core over
yeah, absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
Jaguars. So that's why I'm taking Vikings.
I would take Vikings as well. I think their defense is more likely to outplay the Jaguars' defense.
Yeah.
And-
Thielens on the COVID list, but I would just check when he returns. You can continue talking. I'll just...
Yeah. I like the 10-game losses into blip. I agree, but what I meant more is when you look at those 10 losses, there are kind of 3 or 4 at the beginning which are by less than 1 score, then there's 3 or 4 in the middle which are by a couple of scores, and then the more recent ones have all been by less than 1 score. And
Yeah.
the more recent ones have been against the Saints, not the Steelers. The Steelers one was like a complete battering. We'll ignore that one. Sorry, against the Packers was a
Packers.
recent one. The Browns, who are a playoff team.
Yeah.
So
Thielen's hopeful for this game.
yeah, I think the
this week.
Vikings. I think both teams are in a similar boat where if they play well, they where if they play well, they play well.
Yeah.
If they play to the best of their abilities, they have a chance to win games. But because they're playing each other, I think the Vikings come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Annoyingly.
Cook's healthy again, so yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great.
Vikings
It's gonna
were-
be. I think it'll be a really good match. Both physical defenses against
will
kind
be.
of
It will
against
be.
top 5
Yeah.
running backs. So it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be really good.
Yeah. We'll get to the Browns in a second, but first we have to deal with the Jets, and they face the Raiders.
Yeah, I think
and that's
if
gonna
do
be...
you know what really
Oh.
scares me? Someone made a comment that the Jaguars are one good Sam Darnold throw away from being the first overall pick, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't disagree with that, because if they're like we've said this year's been really fun because it's been really competitive, because this year it's less about which teams are good and which are bad. It's, are the teams going to play well or not?
Yeah.
And like we saw last week, the Raiders were just completely done. And
Yeah.
again, the Dolphins struggled against the Jets at the start, picked it up eventually. But that's what I mean, is that if the Jets want to come play and the Raiders want to play the way they played last
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
I think again the Jets are one good Sam Darnold throw away from a victory. I do think the Raiders still win. I don't see them not winning, but
I think the Raiders win, but I think this is going to be one of the Jets' best chances so far in the season to win a game.
interesting, yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets do pull out the win, but I still think the Raiders will take it.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's much of a question.
Yeah, and Browns being playoff contenders. Yeah, they face the Titans this week,
Oh, that should be a really good matchup for
which
them.
would be a really good matchup. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt versus Derrick Henry.
Oh, what a match.
He's 2 people in himself.
He is. I think, because he's not 2 people in himself, I think the Browns' potential... Oh, Titans just...
Titans are complete.
They are. Titans bodied the Colts as well.
Yeah. And the
And the
Colts have quite a stingy defense. They're very good at shutting down teams, the Colts.
I think it will depend on their game plans. If both teams are just intent on
Yes.
running it, I think the Browns take it. I think they've got the better overall running game and the better overall run defense. But I think but both teams also rely on big rollouts and play actions to deliver some really good passes downfield.
Yeah.
And actually, if
so they both have very similar rushing yards per game stats.
If it comes down to passing offenses, I think Tannehill and AJ Brown and Corey Davis take that over Baker and Landry.
I think if it ends up going to the pass, then Titans win it because Tannehill's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
and I don't trust Baker to step up.
I think I think Mayfield's a good
Maker Bayfield.
Maker Bayfield. I think he's a good quarterback, but he struggles more than Tannehill does.
Yes,
and he's also Tannehill's got good receivers.
I mean Jarvis Landry had a game last week.
He did, but that's one man.
He did play well. Yeah.
So
AJ Brown was incredible.
He really was. His speed.
Some of the tackles he broke as well.
He's a big guy.
He was incredibly physical. Yeah.
Great player. Really
bodied like 4 players to get to the end zone.
Titans are a really complete team. Kat actually just sent me a video about Titans being complete. They've got they've got a nice receiving core that all work really well together. You've got no standouts. They just all play really well. Fantastic tight end, red zone threat, really good running back. Their O-line's playing well enough, and you've got a quarterback who doesn't need a massively big contract. Just slots in, does his job.
I think Titans take it, to be honest.
I think their defense is probably slightly better.
Yeah. Myles Garrett is back this week.
That will make a difference.
Which will absolutely make a difference, but I still think Titans take it, to be honest.
I think the Browns kind of front seven is probably better than the Titans one, which I think could make a massive difference, but we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Right, Rams Cardinals.
These NFC West teams, how are we supposed to pick between them? They keep beating each other, and they don't make it easy for us.
and then they keep on losing a game to a not so great opponent.
I know, I'm gonna say Rams because they're on a hot streak. That's all I can say.
They're not.
Are they not? Are
they just
lost.
Hot
streak?
They just lost to 49ers.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they? Ooh. Yeah, no, I still take them to win then, because
I still take them to win.
Sorry, let me look up my scores on the Rams.
Cardinals just lost as well.
They did, didn't they? Oof.
Where is it? What score was it? Yeah, they lost 2017 to the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm still taking the Rams to win this one.
Same.
Because
Aaron Donald's getting into form.
Yeah, and also they were they were on a hot streak before this game.
Yes.
As in they beat. Come on, show me. Okay. They beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Seahawks or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. So, I'm more inclined to say the Rams, and like you say, like with Aaron Donald, they just have a little bit more star power.
Yeah.
Also, I think that 8 teams should go to the playoffs. I don't know why there's a bye. In my opinion, 8 teams should get a chance. That's a really interesting way of doing it, yeah.
That's 50% of all teams, though.
It is all winning teams, though, if that makes sense.
Well,
mostly.
NFC East enters.
Yes.
I mean, that's not a bad idea if you pick the 8 top teams, regardless of division.
Yeah. Because then you actually get a contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
But
that.
if you're with 6 or 7 divisions, sure, because it does include that bit of competitiveness between the divisions. Whereas if you're picking 50% of
I think potentially the only
teams,
problem
then
with 8 is if you're going with 4 wildcards, then you potentially end up having lots of divisional matchups, which just
yeah,
sort of which is then a bit pointless.
which will
Um,
it'll muddy it a little bit because divisional matchups can go either way,
yeah, exactly. And also
and a lot of the
also
time
if
do
you've
go either way.
yeah, and also you could potentially play a team on week 14, week 17, and then first week of the playoffs.
Yeah,
Um, that would be my only
yeah.
worry. But would that make divisions a bit possible? No. Yes, it would, because then you wouldn't because then the top 4 wouldn't be the 4 division winners.
Yeah,
So
but I think in some seasons uh, I feel that shouldn't be the case anyways.
yeah,
Especially this season when you've got the leader of the NFC East on 4 wins.
yeah.
Speaking of that, yeah, Giants play Seahawks this week at the newly named Lumen Field
Ooh, why has it
in
been
Seattle.
why has it been Lumen? Is that a company new sponsor?
Yes,
Cool.
that's the company changing their name,
Oh right,
I believe.
yeah. Yeah, the divisions don't really make any point anymore anyway because they're not near each other. like,
Yeah,
but yeah, Seahawks absolutely take this one.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't see them not.
They've been very mediocre. They were mediocre against the Eagles for a large portion of that game.
Do you know
and
what?
then I and then I turned off the game, and then they won.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. The Giants have the ability to surprise, but I think this is potentially just one too many.
yes, yeah, I agree.
Because I think like one of the best cornerbacks this season has been James Bradbury.
Yeah,
And
well,
so to see him matched up against
sure.
no, in terms of passer rating allowed and interceptions and pass breakups and things, it's statistically been one of the best cornerbacks this season. I don't know what that says about him or kind of about the Giants maybe as a whole. But,
Yeah,
but yeah, but that would be a really interesting matchup against him versus the Seahawks receivers. But
yeah,
yeah, I can't.
yeah.
I
No,
can't
he's been
see,
all right. He's been decent. Yeah.
I can't see the Giants having enough firepower to beat the Seahawks.
No, neither.
Even if the Seahawks play badly, they just like
Yeah,
it just yeah, I can't see it.
yeah. Next game is Packers Eagles in Wisconsin.
Might be a bit of a rout.
Yeah, I think Packers Eagles is always a physical game.
It's always a good game.
And I remember last season, the Eagles had 2 really good hits to start the game out,
Yeah,
sending 2 of our players out for a good portion of the game. One of them came back, but one was just knocked out
yeah,
and couldn't come back to the game. So yeah, that's a big reason I don't like the Eagles, because they didn't get penalised for that either. But yeah, no, the way both teams are playing, it's gonna be a Packers blowout in my opinion.
yeah. I can't.
Eagles are
see
going to
it.
Eagles are going to turn the ball over loads. Carson Wentz is going to get hit incredibly, because Zadarius Smith is top 5 in sacks this year.
Yeah,
Preston Smith is getting into form. Rashawn Gary is getting into form. Kenny Clark is playing well, and the secondary is starting to pick it up.
yeah.
Kevin King had a really good game. Jair Alexander had a good game. Darnell Savage had an incredible game, getting 2 picks.
Yeah, I can see it being close, potentially closer than people think it's going to be.
Yes,
because Jalen Hurts is going to have apparently a lot more snaps, and that'll.
he didn't play very well last night.
No, I know, but he's going to. But I think there's not enough film on him to just kind of determine what they're going to do with him.
Yes,
So I think it potentially.
he is a bit of He's a kind of similar to Wentz almost.
Yeah,
His play style is kind of a little similar.
yeah.
So I'm not sure it will matter too much. But Hurts didn't play very well. Wentz played terribly. So I can't see the Packers not winning this.
No, I agree. I can't. I don't think
Comes
it's going
back
to be a
next week and
contest.
the
I just
Packers
think.
lose.
I think the only variable for me would be Jalen Hurts, or like the Eagles do a massive game plan shift and try and run it down the Packers' throat.
The
But
the variable for me is Eagles D line.
yeah, that's a good point as well.
They played quite well for a little portion of the game last night against the Seahawks.
Yeah,
They played well for good portions of that game. So I think if they play well, it's going to be close. If they don't, Packers win.
yeah.
Ooh, good game as well. Patriots Chargers after this.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots win this one. They played well defensively against the Cardinals.
Yeah. I mean,
Chargers like to lose.
Chargers are 3-8.
Yeah, I think it's it's such. It really bothers me that the Chargers are doing badly because everyone hails them as this kind of amazing team, and actually, they kind of equally they've had loads of really close one-score losses, and kind of
I
similar
think
to the Jags in that respect. So
potentially a large portion of that is coaching. Actually, in my opinion, the coaching hasn't been great for the Chargers.
Joey Bosa started to play really well though, and
he has picked it up off of what was already a really good season for him.
Yeah. So
I'm putting Chargers.
I've completely forgotten who they're playing. Cardinals. Sorry, no, Patriots.
Patriots. So yeah, I think Chargers win that.
Yeah, I think the Patriots, even though they've won 2 in a row now, have been really inconsistent in that in those 2 wins.
Yeah.
Like they played. Wait, who did they play before the Cardinals? Chargers do have the best uniforms. They really do. They're so beautiful.
They're incredible. I love them.
They're so good. They're just.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I see Chargers taking it.
Wait, who did the Patriots beat before the Cardinals?
Give me a sec.
Because I think they quite clearly won that game.
They played. Oh, come on. Why is it only showing the previous game and not everything else? Wow, the internet's running slowly. Okay, here we go. They lost to the Texans.
Lost to the Texans.
Yeah.
They
beat Ravens the game before them.
That's it, yeah. So the game against the Ravens, they played quite well. Yes, it was kind of a really rainy day that neither team probably deserved to win that game. But
no.
And then Texans decided to pick it up, play well there. Sorry, the Ravens game is the one I was thinking of. And then against the Cardinals, again, didn't play massively well, but just sort of egged it through.
Yeah.
So I would be tempted to say Chargers as well. Yeah, like thinking with that Texans loss in there as well.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm picking Chargers. I think the Texans, Patriots just haven't been able to score enough.
No. Which is ironic because they have the ultimate scoring weapon in Cam Newton as a goal line running back. So it's bizarre to me, but I think
it's a little bit, but yeah. Broncos Chiefs is going to be a.
It's going to be a bit of a battering as well.
Yeah, it is.
Poor Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be fair to the Broncos, they did about as well against the Chiefs as the not the Buccaneers, as like who was it? I'm trying to remember now. It was
Broncos. Sorry.
Broncos scored 3 points against. Was it Chiefs this week? Saints. Sorry. Yeah, that was it. And they did about as well as the Buccaneers did. So.
Yeah, I mean Saints defense has been incredible actually. However, they played the Chiefs a couple of weeks back and just got blown out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it will
Yeah.
come up when they last played.
I like how we're trying to be polite to the Broncos here, but actually,
Yeah, no, they lost 43-16
yeah, I can't.
late October. So
I just feel sorry for the Broncos. Really, they've had a really just injury kind of
yeah,
trodden season.
yeah,
It's
they've
just
had a
been-
really bad. It's been unlucky, but also yeah,
yeah. Sorry, Broncos, you're losing this one.
yeah. Oh, this could be a good game. Bills 49ers.
Ooh, Bills.
Yeah,
The more
49ers are getting healthy, but Bills are just a complete team.
like, fair play to the 49ers for winning. Like, but on the whole,
Yeah.
yeah, on the whole, the Bills are the more complete team, and they're good.
Yeah.
Broncos will probably only win one more.
If that.
If that, to be honest, Matt, I would say like they're
Yeah.
just they need their full team to be healthy to be able to compete. Basically, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars could beat them at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I would pick the Jaguars over the Broncos.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of. I find it really sad that Jaguars sit at number 31 in most power rankings, because actually there's a couple of teams I think the Jaguars could beat. I think they could beat. The Broncos.
They've had a relatively difficult schedule.
Yeah, I think they could beat the Broncos. I think they could potentially beat Washington. They would beat the Jets. Yeah, not many other teams, but
I can see them beating the Chargers,
yeah, I can see them beating potentially like
Bengals,
Giants.
Lions.
Well, they lost to the Bengals, this is the thing, is they lost to the Bengals and the Eagles, which is just really frustrating because I feel like those are games
you can win. Yeah.
which we could have won. And anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Yes, we've gone Bills 49ers. We have Washington football team versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel bad. But also, Steelers are just gonna, yeah.
Do you know what? Let's give them some hope here. Okay. Alex Smith.
Yeah, I think Washington can put together a good game. Sorry, I just got a burp coming.
I think the Steelers, if they force the Steelers to play on Sunday, which they very well could, it would be interesting to see the Steelers play kind of like 4 days after playing the Ravens.
Yeah, they play on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they'll move that game then if they play Wednesday. If they don't play Wednesday, the Steelers have had like a couple of weeks, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, Washington have had some decent offensive production.
Yeah, they have. Antonio Gibson's playing incredibly well.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin's been playing well as well. He's been really good. Good for my fantasy team as well. But still Steelers defense.
Yeah. Which we like to pick the underdog. We like to think in how the underdog team could win the game, but no, they're not going to win the game. It's like we said that about the Steelers-Jaguars game.
Yeah,
the Jaguars just kind of got clapped.
Oh, well, I didn't give the Jaguars a chance even.
Clapped. So. I meant slapped is the word I meant. Clapped as in.
Yes. Yeah, no, I said that about the Jaguars last week. I said they're just gonna get. Yeah, they're not gonna have a chance.
I blame Jake Luton, but anyway. Imagine if we'd had Mike Glennon.
Yeah. The whole extra 2 points you would have gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that offense is built on the back of James Robinson at this point.
Well, I don't think it is. I think we've got some really decent receivers. It's just
you
about
do, but you're not using them. Hence, James Robinson is a factor in the running game and the passing game. That's why he's doing so well. That's why he's doing so well on fantasy as well. He's incredible. I think he's top 5 running back for me at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
He's been doing really well. And the last one on Wednesday, the Cowboys Raiders. Ravens even, sorry.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Why Wednesday?
I don't know, because the Ravens are playing Wednesday. It doesn't make sense. But I've got here that it's on Wednesday.
That's so stupid. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, is it Tuesday night rather than like...
Yes. It'll be Tuesday night.
Right. That makes potentially a... yeah, anyway. Favoritism at work, I'm going to say, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say on talent, I would say the Ravens win. But
Same.
they've been really inconsistent. Cowboys are starting to play a little bit better.
The Cowboys' defense is picking up, so I think this is going to be a 50-50 game.
Yeah, especially if Lamar's still not there and other pieces are missing as well. I would potentially. No, I'm still gonna pick the Ravens. I think they're the better team, but
Yes, I think they're the better team, but they have their own problems and they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they are really. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I pick Ravens. Bucks and Panthers are on bye weeks.
Yeah. Panthers lost. Oh, poor Panthers. This was a bit of a...
Yeah, they had a chance. They had the chance.
Summed up their week, actually.
Joey Sly just kind of...
Summed up their... Hello, Big Cube. I don't think I've seen you comment before. It's going very well today, man. I'm feeling good. I've actually finished some work today, so I was feeling really productive.
Nice. That makes sense. I've got so much to do.
I sort of wish, I know I start, so I'm doing a master's at the moment, and I forgot that it was my master's year because it's all integrated, so it's not like I've done 3 years of uni.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's just 4 years. And so I've completely forgot that I'm in master's year, and so the work just got significantly harder, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope your day has been good as well, Big Coob.
Yeah.
You play any Mutt? Not this year, so I'm kind of having a bit of a...
We're on strike.
We're on strike on Madden
21.
21.
We're boycotting Madden 21.
Boycotting, thank you, yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Oh, that was an awful throw. Oh wait, it bounced around, that's so weird.
I need to watch this now.
I really I love Mutt, but I haven't played it this year because I haven't got Madden 21. I'm still playing on Madden 20. Because actually, Superstar KO is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game mode. And Sam and I have been doing our own
our own franchise,
our own franchise mode, which has been good fun.
That was a lot. That was a lot of effort to make that. Honestly.
Yeah,
the amount of effort I put into making that.
Cool. Yeah.
Roster, yeah.
Yeah. But you
still need to play your games on it, by the way.
Do I? Sorry.
Yeah. It's been like 3 weeks at this point.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been enjoying playing other games. Other games I'm playing are kind of Watch Dogs, and I've got a really interesting FIFA career mode going on, as well as some NBA 2K. So. The yard looks pretty sick. I would love to have a go. It's.
I'm not that. What's the word? Excited for the yard.
Oh, ow.
That's not how I play.
Fair enough. You like more kind of...
I like franchises, I like rebuilding.
Yeah. See, I have
sort of thing.
I have both sides of that.
Yeah.
I love getting stuck into a franchise, but at the same time, I love just a really good, fun kind of play mode. Which is why I'm really excited for 2K to start making NFL games. Because that's hopefully going to be like NFL Street and stuff, and be like...
Yeah.
Also,
I do take my degree seriously. I take my degree seriously. I did that work on the roster over the summer.
He did. Yeah.
So none of it was during uni time.
Yeah. I've tried. Maybe I just have an awful phone, but just Madden Mobile in general really struggles on my phone. Yeah. Which is a shame because I love Madden Mobile. But yeah, very exciting news, at least for me. I've bought a 4K gaming monitor. Very exciting. In preparation for my graduation present to Tori and I, a PS5. So, I'm
You mean to
imagining.
you?
No. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be in there as well. So,
Okay.
okay. But yeah, we're I think it'll take until about May when I graduate or when I finish anyway, for them to get new PS5s out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, I was looking at Black Friday deals for PlayStations, and there just weren't any, so I decided to buy myself a jersey instead.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's customized.
Is it? I'm so sorry. My kind of Spanish and Spanish languages are awful. But hello, Andres Joseph, and I'm assuming from the word Dominican that you are one of our listeners from the Dominican Republic, which is
I
awesome.
believe that means welcome or hello from the Dominican Republic. That's what
hello,
I'm assuming.
Either way,
anyways.
welcome. Thanks for saying hi. Thank you to Green Jaguar 9 as well, who followed us kind of a few minutes ago. Hope you're having a good day if you're still watching.
Greeting. Okay, so that means saludo desde la República Dominicana. Greetings from the Dominican Republic. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Yeah, greetings to you too.
That's awesome.
From a very dark December in the UK.
Yeah.
It's quite something.
It is. It's it goes dark around 5 now. It's
yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's also very cold. We've got our heater out.
Ours is on the fritz as well.
No, I meant as in we have a portable heater for winter.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, no, our thermostat's not doing not doing its job very well. So we've got
our heater is called Hank because why not?
Okay. Not going to question it, but yeah, meeting you, I guess.
Yeah. His name. Yeah, there we go.
You get some validation from the wife there.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's going to be. Oh dear. Jaguars Vikings this weekend's not going to go great.
Right.
That's kind of our two teams. Our heater is called Jag Smash because it doesn't work properly. You're killing me! You're killing me, man!
Stop it! He's already dead.
If your heater's a bit like the Jags management, then you picked out the best model, but just forgot to keep it working. Yeah, forgot to plug it in. Forgot to give it a second go. Oh dear.
Yeah, you just haven't serviced it in a while.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh yeah. Is there anyone else that wants to say hi or like talk about anything? Like that's we've kind of talked about all that we plan to talk about.
Yeah. If it's the Packers, sorry, I just thought about this. You've bought one in 2001, and you just haven't looked at any new models since.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I say news. Eagles head coach Pederson hasn't been reassured on job status.
Yes. Yeah. No, I saw that. That's what I was saying. He's he's gonna go this year, I reckon.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Also, Shanahan saying, 49ers will be playing in Arizona a few weeks at home. Yeah. They'll be playing the games in Arizona because of the Santa Clara County saying that you can't have contact sports, essentially. So Carl Shanahan said that them staying in Arizona is not going to be a bonding opportunity.
That's so funny, yeah. If it's the Jets, then why did you buy it?
Yeah.
Great one as well. I love that one, that's great. Oh,
you've bought it, you've got it home, you just set it down and it just falls into 1,000 different pieces.
Have you seen Gridiron Heights, Sam?
No, I've seen a couple, but not very often.
There are some really funny ones. One of my favourite ones is when a couple of years ago when when all the rookies got drafted, rookie QBs like Sam Darnold and stuff. Because it's about like rebuilding season, It's like the
Yeah.
Jets have been rebuilding for years. It's like, and it's like a list of the Jets quarterbacks. It's so funny.
Still true.
It is. It's just.
I mean, this is the problem with a lot of teams that you'll have the occasional good year, but until you find that franchise quarterback, you're not going to play well. Which is, yeah, it does show how much having consistent QB play for a long period of time can elevate a team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the key thing that I think a lot of teams get wrong is that they expect consistent quarterback play kind of every time, and obviously they don't get it. And they need to start game planning around inconsistent QB play. So, like, I'm thinking the Titans. Vikings is a better example. They were obviously struggling really hard at the start of the season, and if you look, Kirk Cousins' throws start to go, throw attempts start to go down, and Dalvin Cook's run attempts start to go up, and they start to win games, and it's just things like that. And the Jaguars have done something very similar as well. So just on the thought of college news, I've just popped into my head. Yeah, having Sarah Fuller, thank you. Sarah Fuller, first woman to play in a Power 5 college football game, which is a big deal. She literally did one kickoff because Vanderbilt are that bad. But in other news, Buffalo College, I don't think they're in the Power 5. They may not even be like in the main, like FBS. FBS? Yeah, FBS. But their running back got 400 yards and 8 touchdowns this week.
What?
I know. Was it 400? It may have even been like 450. 450.
409.
Okay, 409 and 8 touchdowns. Like, that's crazy. 400, that's just...
8 touchdowns.
That's domination to a new level.
That is, that's incredible. Yeah, they beat, who's this? Kent State Golden Flashes. This is the Buffalo Bulls beat the Kent State Golden Flashes 70-41. He had 36 attempts, 409 yards, 8 touchdowns, longest of 62.
36 attempts isn't even, like, ridiculous.
That's really, really good numbers. That's 11.4 yards per carry.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's really good. What receiving? He didn't have any receiving stats and didn't fumble the ball. That's incredible. That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
The game before it, he had 301 yards off of 31 attempts for 4 touchdowns.
Gosh.
Against BGSU.
Okay.
Bowling Green Falcons.
Yeah. Must have been playing Nebraska. Yeah, I don't think anything interesting in college football happened this week to talk about, sadly.
Apart from that, yeah, no.
In other news, I've won 2 more fantasy games since we last talked about fantasy. I can't believe.
I've lost 2. No, I lost 1-1 because the guy I'm up against managed to score 200.
Wait, whoa! Who scored 200?
Tom.
Dang.
He was predicted 100, and he's come out and he's got 199.
Gosh. He got. That's the new record then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did an anti-Jags. I did do an anti-Jags. I can't believe it.
Yeah, no, I believe I've gone 1-1. Yeah. 7-4 is a decent record still.
Shane James. Oh, oof. I don't think she's wrong, but well, I think this game against the Vikings will be really interesting because I think the Jaguars will lose, but again, and it'd be really close, which will set up a really interesting matchup with the Saints because that again.
No, it won't.
No, it will because we came so close against the Packers. Like, I can see it happening.
Yes, but
eventually.
Packers have had injuries.
Yeah, really.
Saints.
Saints don't have a
Uh,
quarterback.
you
Saints
went again.
are.
Did you have? Did Aaron Jones play against Jags?
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
He was out for a while.
Yeah, no, he played that game. I think.
Okay,
I maybe
let me
wrong.
have a look. Okay, yeah, no, we did.
I thought so.
Also, what's his name? Latavius Murray's been playing really well.
Yeah, he has been playing quite well. Yeah.
He's been really good, change of pace back, and been able to just kind of bowl over a couple of defenders.
Yeah.
A realistic date for Drew Brees to return, week 15 against the Chiefs.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think seeing as we haven't got anything more to talk about, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about, or will
MVP race.
MVP race? Yeah, I don't know actually. I don't feel like anyone deserves an MVP this year.
No, to be honest, they've all had bad games.
I just heard a shout of Dalvin Cook from downstairs. Personally, I personally think
He has been good. He has been good.
if you've got to say like the best player in the entire NFL, and also not just the best player in the entire NFL, but like the most valuable,
Valuable.
meaning they have the most value. So they may be a great player, but did they have a great season? And so like Hopkins is a really good answer there.
Yeah.
Like he literally won them again.
Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Rodgers.
Burrow or Prescott for taking their injuries like troopers. That was a good. Yeah, I think literally the fact that like this is another really funny on Gridiron Heights if people don't watch it. It's so funny. Like whenever they do the MVP race one, they always have the quarterbacks and every other position do different races, and it's so true. Like quarterbacks are just like, ooh, they're the best. It's like, but really,
Yeah. That's why I'm putting 2 running backs and 1 QB in there.
Yeah, I would say the best QB has probably been Mahomes.
I would say Mahomes, but has he been the most valuable player?
I mean, have you seen him play?
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I'd go as far as
mean,
saying Tyreek Hill.
I mean,
as well,
Tyreek Hill's been in. Did you see his game? He's top 20 receiving yards all time.
Yeah.
He was 100 off, or he was like 60 off of the record.
I think Mahomes will probably get it. I
yeah,
agree.
same.
I think
It annoys me, but Aaron Rodgers has been incredible. He's leading the league in passer rating.
Yeah, I think. Oh,
And he with Devontae Adams out, he's managed to win games. He's
yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, I think realistically it will go between Mahomes and Rodgers because
I think Wilson's kind of pushed himself out of it because of the 10 interceptions.
Yeah, they're the 2 QBs with the kind of the highest touchdowns and least interceptions.
Rodgers is leading with 33 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
Wilson's 31 and 10. Mahomes is 30 and 2.
Yeah. So I think it's probably between those 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But realistically, if the Vikings can make the playoffs, I think it's I think Dalvin Cook's MVP. If
I can see it. I can see it. That would be quite fitting as well. The last MVP who was a running back was Adrian Peterson. I believe that was 2007, 2005.
I was going to say 2008, but
oh, it might have been.
I may be wrong. So I'm tempted to say. So I think if the Vikings win with a good record.
Oh wait, it was 2012.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fair enough.
if the Vikings, what a Matt. I think if the Vikings win and win well to finish out the season, so they go like 9-7 rather than kind of 8-8 or something.
Yeah.
I can see Cook winning it. Again, similarly, if the Titans can carry on this form and go kind of 11-5 or something, I can see Derrick Henry getting it.
Yeah, he's already on 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook's on 1,100, but it's still, yeah.
Yeah. So, I just remember from the last time we discussed. Yeah.
Also, big thing, Derrick Henry, no fumbles.
Yeah.
Which is
I think
really good.
if DeAndre Hopkins continues to put up the stats, I can see him being MVP. Dark horse MVP.
He's not top though. He's only got 4 touchdowns, 967 yards.
Yeah.
If you're picking a receiver, you go DK Metcalf, 1,039, 9 touchdowns, or Tyreek Hill, 1,020, 13 touchdowns.
Okay.
Or Devontae Adams played 2 less games, 900 yards, 11 touchdowns.
Fair enough. My dark horse for MVP. He's got to pick it up a little bit, but my dark horse would be Kyler Murray.
Yeah, my dark horse would be TJ Watt.
Ooh, I like that pick. I kind of want that one to happen now.
He's been really good. 16 TFLs, 9 sacks, 6 pass deflections, and interception.
Wow. It would be nice to see a defensive player win it.
Yeah. Actually, I would put Zadarius Smith over TJ Watt. 9 sacks, 13 TFLs, 1 pass deflection, but then 3 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries.
Wow. Josh Allen's played well as well. He's just sort of statistically not in the conversation.
Yeah.
But mine would be great.
I mean, Josh Allen at the moment has 3,000 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 8 picks. Those 22 touchdowns is a little
lower.
A little low.
So what's Kyler Murray on?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find Josh Allen rushing stats. He's rushed for 311. I believe that's 6 touchdowns as well.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
So that's 28 total touchdowns for him.
Yeah.
Kyler, where is he? 2,800, 19 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Okay.
What's his completion percentage? Oh, he's...
Look at his rushing stats as well, though. Add that in.
Yes, yeah. He's throwing 68.2%, so that's pretty good.
I would put him
seeing as both Mahomes and Rodgers are throwing at that rate.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is 11th in rushing yards.
Yeah, exactly.
650 and 10 touchdowns.
And the touchdowns.
So that's 20. That's 29 total touchdowns.
Yeah. So the 9 interceptions is a bit out there, but on the whole, actually.
But if you're not giving Russell Wilson an MVP, because he's he's 379, 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
So if you're not giving him MVP, then I wouldn't give Kyler MVP.
No, fair enough. But then that's what I mean, is that actually I would say that Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are probably more valuable than Rodgers and Mahomes, even though statistically they've played sharper football.
Yes.
Because even though they're not quite there in the throwing stats or the interception stats, they have played in a way that has won them games, and
yeah. I mean, a thing I like to do is combine the yardage, combine the touchdowns.
Yeah.
How far are they? How many yards are they getting themselves?
Yeah.
How many touchdowns have they scored? That's why I wouldn't put Kyler there, because he's got 600 650 rushing yards. We'll put him at, where's his passing? That puts him at about 3,400 total yards,
which is not bad.
Which would be second, but then 29 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Yeah.
That's similar to Tom Brady, Russell Wilson level of touchdown interception ratio. and they're at very similar yardage.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to give them the award, are you going to give Kyler the award?
Yeah. I would be more inclined to give them the award though than Mahomes or Rodgers. Like yes they've played better as a quarterback, but in terms of the most valuable player, I would say that Wilson and Kyler are more valuable. Personally.
Against Mahomes, yes, because Mahomes has a very good supporting cast. Rodgers, I would probably put even because Rodgers doesn't have quite the same targets.
But he also has a really good defense.
Does he?
Yes. Jair Alexander, we talked about this.
Yes, yeah. But as a group, the Packers' defense has been iffy at best this year.
I think MVP is a silly award because of it being called MVP. Like, it just needs to be. Yeah, exactly. And also, how do you determine value? Like, that's why it's so stupid. Like, and if it's most valuable, you've surely got to play for a good team. Exactly. Like, because the most value, like the best player of the season, maybe might play for an awful team.
Yeah.
And how are you determining valuable? Are you saying that the most valuable player is the team that would lose every game if that player didn't play for them, which you just can't do because it's a team sport.
Yeah.
And as in, like, there are 100 factors that sort of go into these things. So, because then, yeah, you'd go McCaffrey and the Panthers.
Actually, I wouldn't, because Mike Davis has been quite good in his absence, and they've won games without him.
Yeah, true. Only switch.
And then I would put Dalvin Cook if you're doing that.
Yeah, true. Dalvin Cook. Yeah, I would put Dalvin Cook in there. And then
because we've seen the Vikings without him playing very well, or without him doing well, or without him getting touches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think as well, is value then like the player who is worth the most amount of money? If you see what I mean, like, is that how we're doing value?
Yeah.
Because then again, that's kind of it's kind of saying like who would you spend the most, like if you were going to start a team from scratch and pay one person loads of money, who would you pay that to? And you'd say, yeah, that's Mahomes. But then that's
with his $500 million a year, $500 million over 10-year contract. Yeah.
Or you would say someone like Aaron Donald, or you would say potentially like Myles Garrett or something.
Yeah.
But then if they don't have good seasons, are they still the MVP? Like, it just. That's what I mean. It's like because if I'm going to say based on this season, the most valuable player, based on their performance this season, who is the one player I would want on my team, and kind of if I was starting a team, I don't know who that would be. Like I'd probably still say Mahomes. I wouldn't like there hasn't been any outstanding player this season that kind of deserves to be the number one pick in my team, but I would probably still say Mahomes just because of how great a quarterback he is.
The MVP is also a funny one because you're saying this irrelevant or without any age factoring into it either. Whereas if I was picking a team, I would want to pick youngest players.
Yeah, exactly.
In their positions. Whereas MVP, in my eyes, is the player who's played the best, who's elevated his team to the next level.
Yeah. I think that's really difficult because the NFL is one of those, and American football is one of those sports that it really is a team sport. That actually your quarterback only plays well if your O-line plays well, and your receivers only play well if your quarterback plays well, and things like this. Like, and again, equally, I love Matt's comment. Let's give it to the Jets because they're valuable to every other team. They give them wins.
Guaranteed win, right there. Yeah.
It's just how. Like they need. That's why I don't like the term MVP. And also, we need to sort of decide what does MVP mean. Where is the value?
Yes.
Like, because if you're going to say like, its value is in the statistics, it's the best statistical season, then, like I said, wide receivers are never going to win because they are dependent on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Which then I think is unfair, because I think there are some wide receivers who are so valuable that they bring something to a team, like DeAndre Hopkins. It's made and Tyreek Hill. They've made that very clear this season. Calvin Johnson. Minshew would have a chance then. Oof. The most valuable mustache in football. So basically, when it gets to the end of the season, Sam and I are going to do our own award ceremony and pick something different.
Yes.
That's all that we've determined
I'm going to look forward
this.
to that,
yeah. Oh, dear. Should we finish up for the night, Sam?
Go on, yeah.
Well, thank you everyone so much. Like the best eater, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. We love you guys. Thank you to our new followers, all the people that kind of chatted with us. We have so much fun. If you want to see more of us, follow us here, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. Just thank you.
Hopefully
so much.
they're all linked in the Twitch bio.
I do try.
Yeah.
He says. Yeah, I try when I'm not doing work.
Thank you to everyone who watches, including new viewers and regulars, because really enjoy having these conversations.
We have so much fun. Yeah, we have a blast. So thank you for making it possible.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week with more complaints about how the NFL handles the Ravens game.
Yeah. Yeah, join us next time to find out if it's postponed again or not.
Yeah. We'll see you then. Bye.